Welcome back everyone, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Spellforce 3 Soul Harvest. Where we left last time, we're about to enter the Dwarven city itself. Windhome has come under siege by us, and we also have a rebellion going on inside. Let's kill our way to Arakys. I think it's Arakys, but I think Arakys sounds cooler.
What happened here?
That's a lot of corpses.
That is a lot of corpses. Like a huge amount of corpses.
But Malik wasn't... No matter. We need to find Arakys. Go. Dust and stones.
Rebellions are bloody.
They are indeed. We're not going to summon too many things here because it's a very small area. Where did all my spells vanish? Why did all of our healing spells vanish? That's weird, but okay. Alright, good enough.
Out of the way.
Where are you guys going?
What do you need?
Beardless scum! You're going to pay!
I'm not even sure which dwarves are our enemies and which ones are our allies, so we're just gonna shoot spells in indiscriminately and hope we hit the right guys.
Where to? Just what I needed.
We have to go see if the blacksmith is alive. He's the most important guy. It doesn't look like he made it. At least his wyvern didn't make it. I don't see... Actually, maybe it did. I don't know. I don't see anyone around, though. Nobody's alive in here. There's a lot of berserkers guarding one forge.
This is it.
Moving on.
Lead the way.
We can take them.
The statue has definitely been blown to pieces.
Let's push on.
Came prepared. You know it. Okay, I'll keep the bastards off.
Our main character apparently is our tank. He's decided to be the front of the group. Let's just taunt to make sure he doesn't die. And everything should be dead pretty much.
We can take them.
Okay. Check the other side.
I'll catch up.
For Arakys!
There's definitely more enemies over here. Let's just AoE them to death, because that's a lot of AoE damage we're pumping out.
Finally, some action.
Apparently my main guy really wants to get to that archer. That specific archer needs to die. Because he ignored all the men or all the enemies in front of him and just went straight for that last one. I don't know why. It's weird.
Go for the eyes!
I don't know why we're killing everything, because we don't need experience anymore. We're max level on all of our characters, so it doesn't really help the situation.
That statue looks like a meteor struck it.
Time's up!
How did Malik do it?
Torval, a former Earth Shaper of the Bastion.
Any idea what's going to happen with all that moon silver?
We were going to use it to repair the damage done by Arakys, though Malik's men were supposed to protect it from looters. Stones. Malik, where are you?
Probably doing corrupt things.
Need me?
Killing peasants and stuff.
Ancestors.
But we made our way to the castle. It was pretty easy.
To the grave!
If I must.
Luckily, Windhome's a fairly linear place.
I'm listening.
General?
Interesting.
All right, here we are. The Granite Castle. Ready, General? I'm not sure I want to know what's happening in there.
Worried about your brother?
I don't know what I'm worried about. Let's just get this over with, okay? Let's find Arakys, incarcerate him, and end this mess once and for all.
Let's go in.
Okay, let's go in.
What's the latest?
As if the castle walls shut out the reality beyond them. An eerie quiet surrounds you inside. No corpses, no fires, no tang of ashes and blood. Only the polished granite tiles and the massive pillars holding up the ceiling and the mountain above it.
think there's a couple more fights in
Let's
here.
make it painless.
I'll keep the buck.
Right.
Look out!
Yeah, there is.
With the rebels! Crush 'em!
These are Arakys' guards. And they're kind of annoying to fight. Summon. Oh, we're not. Don't have enough hit points for this. There we go.
Throwing your life away.
Healing now.
One's dead.
That's me.
We can take them.
Golem Architect and 2 Hibernian Guardians, sorry. Goldians? I was going for Golems and Guardians combined.
Need me?
What is that? The totem. Kill the totem. I don't know what it does, but can't be a good thing.
You were saying?
Last guy left. Just the Architect. Really easy fight, actually.
Tiara's breath. That thing was tough.
A guardian golem. They were made to protect, not to harm. The guards must have been desperate to awaken them.
And no sign of your brother.
There.
What's he doing? What do we have here?
It's over, Arakys. Your guards are dead.
It's over, Arakys. Your guards are dead.
What?
What?
What on Io is this? It's like he's not even aware of us.
Oh, bugger. Of course, the rune.
Rune?
The rune Rondar Lacane used during the Purity Wars. Remember? I told you about it. The Purity of Light used it to control Lady Myra Utran's mind. The way Arakys is behaving. This catatonia. It's just like how Lady Myra was after Tahal broke the rune's influence on her. High Hierophant Arakys is under mind control, Erev. He was.
Wait. You mean someone is controlling him? Who?
Circle Mage Iskrim. Of course! It has to be Iskrim. He's the only one who knows how to handle the rune. He's the one who has it.
Guardians. You're right.
Hold on. What the stones are you talking about? Mind control, rune? If anybody is controlling Arakys, then it's the god of light. You heard what?
No, Rera, you don't understand. Iskrim is the dwarf Wraith saw during the ritual. He's the corrupted, not Arakys. Look, during the Purity Wars, Rondar Lacane used a Shaper runestone to exert mind control over an influential noble in the north, Lady Myra Utran. Jairus told me the story. Despite the dangers, Circle Mage Iskrim was fascinated by the technology, and he must have continued to research it, without the Queen's permission.
Then... a circle mage did this. But... why?
I don't know, but Arakys must have been a puppet, and all this, the Granite Suns, the monument, Iskrim forced him to do it. We have to...
There's the bastard. Good.
Malik, where were you?
Where do you think? Outside, putting down Arakys' dogs.
That's a bloodbath out there. Was that really necessary? You were supposed to blow up the monument and then sneak into the castle.
Aye, but things got messy. What do you expect us to do? Fight the guards with candy and pillows? But don't worry, it's almost over. All that's left to do now is put down the bad shepherd and the rest of his lambs.
You want to kill him? That wasn't part of the plan, Malik.
Plans change.
Put down his lambs?
Wait, what do you mean by put down his lambs?
What do you think? Every bootlicker, every stuck-up aristocrat, every pragmatist who stood with this bastard is going to die. We're going to finish what we started outside.
Malik, that's...
That's just what needs to be done, for fuck's sake. That bullshit ideology Arakys has put into their heads, it's like cancer. If you don't cut out every single bit of the tumor, it always comes back.
Why don't you just throw him in a dungeon?
Why don't you just throw him into a dungeon?
So that he uses his friends to buy him out the first chance he gets? No, General. Bastards like Arakys, the rich and the mighty, they always find a way to wriggle themselves out of punishment. You have to cut them down when you have the chance.
Arakys was under mind control.
Arakys wasn't in charge of all this. He was under mind control.
Mind control? Huh? Well, that doesn't change the fact that he's got blood on his hands, too. First, we take care of him, and then we find whoever was making the monkey dance.
You're starting to sound just like him.
Oh, get off your high horse, Rara. You're not calling the shots here, not this time. Now, the only reason you came back after you ditched me here was because you wanted to feel good about yourself. And even then, you couldn't wait to jump ship again and run off with that traitor general and his army. You have no fucking idea what it's like down here.
Now stand aside and let me finish what we started.
Arakys lives.
No. We helped you under the assumption that you were going to help Windhome, not orchestrate a bloodbath. Arakys lives, and so will his underlings. In prison.
Don't you dare order me around. Don't you fucking dare!
Go ahead. Let's do this.
What an angry man. Malik is not that tough. Neither are his little friends. Well, we killed him. Or defeated him,
Let's
anyways.
find this Scrim.
Are you alright, Rick?
I'm good. Now, where can we find the one who did this? Do you think he's here? In Windhome?
What about your brother?
What about your brother? Do we leave him here?
He's only unconscious and none of his wounds are lethal. We'll find a healer to take care of him. Now again, where's this circle mage? Where's Scrim?
Thoughts, anyone?
The rune only has a very limited range. So yes, he must be here. He was here all the time.
Hold on. Didn't your brother mention something about an odd dwarf going in and out of the tunnels, Rara?
You mean that was him?
It's a possibility.
Right. Well, then let's find the man. I'd like to have a calm and rational discussion with him.
Alright,
Where to?
let's roll out.
What's this?
Go to the catacombs.
Even well down into the lower layers of the city, the fighting continues. At least, that's what the din of cries, fires, and clashing axes suggests. Rara leads the way, walking fast, her eyes fixed forward.
Here we are. Let's hope we're right and he hasn't made a run for it yet.
We should try that grave first. Remember? The one we found last time we were here?
Good point.
Where are we going?
Over here.
It's not fair. It's just not fair.
Hear that?
That's the dwarf, Scrim.
Let's go have a talk with the circle mage. Our characters all stopped moving, which is weird. Also, there's more spiders over here, apparently.
Who are you?
We know what you did, Scrim. You used the rune to orchestrate the rise of the Granite Suns. Arakys was your puppet.
So, the secret's out. I knew it would be eventually.
Stones, why? Why the stones would you do something like this? Do you know how many people you've killed?
Do you know whose grave this is?
How should I know?
It's Gilak Orblades, the founder of the first Blackstone rebels, whose name you borrowed. King Rorick executed him 20 years ago.
I know who Gilak Orblade was. A hero. What does he have to do with you?
He was my husband.
You're... what?
My husband. He didn't want anyone to know, so he kept it a secret. But it's true.
So, Gilak Orblade was your... what? Your lover?
Is the idea that absurd, Gilak? All he ever wanted to do was good. He didn't fool himself into believing he could save the entire world. Just a touch of good, here and there. That's why he founded the rebels. They weren't even violent to begin with. Just a voice against the injustices that happened under King Rorick's reign. And what did he get in return? Right. The king had him murdered. And when they presented his body to the public, everyone cheered.
I don't follow. King Rorick killed your husband, I understand that. But why on Io would you use the rune to mastermind the rise of another tyrant because of that?
Because I wanted to make them see! I wanted to make these stupid, gullible fools who enable people like Rorick and Arakys
To see how endlessly rotten they really are! And it worked, didn't it? All it took were empty words and hatred, and look at what happened. If we dwarves are really that easy to break, that easy to manipulate, then blood and ashes are all we deserve. Arakys was a test, and they failed it.
That is a very poignant look at our current situation in the world. Why have you released Arakys now?
Why have you released Arakys now?
Why? Because there's no point anymore. The test is over, and Windhome has failed.
The rebellion succeeded, didn't it? So how did your test fail?
The rebellion succeeded, didn't it? So how did Windhome fail your test?
They failed it the moment they elevated Arakys into power. Restore Windhome to its former glory. Gravel eaters, granite sons. Empty words. Pandering, sycophancy through and through. How could anyone believe this nonsense? And yet they did. They cheered, they hated, and they killed for it. As for the rebels, I had high hopes for them. But the more powerful they became, the clearer it became to me that they were ultimately no better than Arakys. Look at the bloodbath up there. They did that. Give a man an axe, and you see his true face.
Malik made them do it. This wasn't what I stood for. This wasn't what any of us stood for.
And yet they obeyed when your brother commanded them to commence the slaughtering. Admit it, Hailstone. It's just in our blood. We dwarves deserve no better.
Kind of on Isgrim's side here. So you were mind controlling him all along?
In other words, Arakys was your puppet from the very start.
For 5 moons. Not from the start. You see, Arakys was always a hate-monger at heart. That's why I chose him. Preached racial purity. Yet slept with an elf. What he lacked was simply the rhetorics and the charisma to take over. So I used the rune on him, and helped out with that.
Excuse me, I had a bit of a cough there. So you did all this to prove a point?
So you did all this to prove a point?
Call it what you will. The truth is, had these people not been so foolish, Windwall would still be at peace now, and Gilak would still be alive.
You bloody, arrogant piece of shit! You played God. That's what this was about. Don't you dare pretend it was any different.
I threw a carcass into the arena, Hailstone. The lions tore it apart.
Windhome is in flames. Are you happy?
Well, Windhome is in flames and hundreds of dwarves are dead. Are you happy?
Quite the opposite. But it wasn't me. I never had Arakys order the death of anyone. What happened out there? Those fools did it to themselves. And that includes your brother, Rara Hailstone. He was only waiting for a chance to get his hands bloody.
You know nothing about my brother.
Oh, but I do. I know that you and he resurrected the Blackstone rebels. And at first, I actually even supported you. Does the name Turfa Smeltgrip ring a bell? Your most generous supporter. I planted that idea inside her head.
Wait, you built up the Blackstone rebels?
I supported them. But the more I watched, the more I realized that they were as bad as Arakys' lackeys. Just in a different uniform. What your brother did out there, Rara Hailstone, only proves my point.
You're being controlled too.
Isgrim, you were also being manipulated. You're one of the corrupted. One of the God of Light's tools.
The God of Light? What are you talking about?
The God of Light is trying to re-enter the world. It's part of an ancient prophecy, Jakku. There are 4 corrupted whose task it is to sow chaos and help with its plan. And you are one of them. You might not have been aware of it, but the God of Light influenced your actions.
What? But... no. This is nonsense. I did this because the dwarves deserved it. We all...
Corrupted or not, I don't give a shit. You have blood on your hands, Circle Mage Isgrim, and you're gonna answer for it. General, I hope you have a spare cell in the Greykeep dungeons. A lightless one with rats.
He'll be tried and punished, yes. Isgrim, promise me that you're not gonna put up a fight. There's been enough bloodshed today.
Do what you want. I did what I had to.
Well, there we go. We're automatically going to the throne room, I guess. to have a talk with the Queen and figure out where to go next.
Your Majesty, I'm sorry for the delay. There was something I needed to take care of.
You are excused. We were just discussing the events in Windhome. Iria, you say you noticed nothing strange about Xvim all this time? I am not blaming you. I simply imagine he must have worked on this plan for quite some time before realizing it.
Well, you know how Xvim is. When he wasn't abroad on his expeditions, he was in his laboratory researching the rune and how the Shapers used it. He would have had plenty of time to work on this plan of his.
Though that raises the question as to when corruption starts. Kirin, the Empyrean man, also wasn't aware that he was serving Jakku. So was it Sheobded who put these ideas into their heads? Or were they already there, and Sheobded merely twisted them for his own purposes?
Either explanation is unsettling.
Well, unsettling or not, what matters is that we took one more of Sheobded's corrupted out of the equation. Also, High Hierophant Arakys won't be a problem any longer. You did good work, Rara Hailstone. And so did you, General.
Will putting him in chains really stop Jakku?
Will putting Xvim in chains really neutralize his influence as a corrupted?
It has to. If he's locked away, how can he advance Jakku? We only need to make certain the locks are safe enough.
Indeed. And even if it were not so, we cannot and will not execute a Circle Mage based on mere conjecture. I am certain you understand.
Have you already spoken to Xvim, Your Majesty?
Have you already spoken to Xvim, Your Majesty?
Not yet. But I plan on doing so very soon.
Provided that he wants to. Ever since we dragged him out of those catacombs, he hasn't said a single word.
I will get him to talk.
What will become of Arakys?
What will become of Arakys?
We will leave that up to the Prince to decide. Let us just hope that the rest of Hailstone's rebels are wiser than her brother.
They are. And just so you know, the Blackstone rebels will stick with you until you've done what you must.
Thank you, Hailstone. I appreciate your loyalty.
That only leaves us with the masked woman, doesn't it? We need to find the Temple of Light before they do.
Speaking of which, where's Sir Catras? Wasn't he here when the Conclave started?
He was.
There was an item. No.
I'm right here, Your Majesty. May I present Gilbar Murkal, the archaeologist.
You found him?
In a brothel in Everlight, yes. A lovely chap, he really is.
It wasn't a brothel. It was a bathing house. Now, while I'm humbled to be here, will somebody please tell me what this is about? Why am I here?
You're here because Nortander needs your services. Tell us, Gilbert Murkal. What do you know about the Temple of Light?
The Temple of... Wait. Does that mean you believe me? You believe it exists?
We certainly do. And we have taken an interest in finding it.
Your Majesty, I don't know what to say. This is an honor. I've spent my entire life...
We know you have. And if your research proves to be helpful, I will see you get the recognition you deserve. Now tell us what you know. What is the Temple of Light? And where is it?
Well, where shall I start? First of all, you need to know that Io is a land full of ancient secrets and...
The short version, please.
Fine. You all know about the God of Light. At least since the Purity Wars. It's an interdimensional entity with hostile intentions. What you probably don't know is that Rondar Lakain wasn't the first person to try to bring it into our world. An ancient people did, too. They were the ones who constructed the original gate. A portal devised to let the God of Light into our world. And they kept it in their temple.
The Temple of Light.
Yes. I doubt that was the name these people used, but according to my research, it's somewhere between the Loranian swamplands and Windhome, above the border of the Howling Steppes.
What's the story behind this gate?
The Aliani prophecy Jakku also mentions this gate. What makes it any different from the portal that Lakain tried to open in the Hall of Justice?
Well, I don't know about any Jakku, but Rondar Lakain created a tear, a fracture in the veil that seals itself with time. The gate, on the other hand, cannot be closed once it has been opened. If it helps, Picture the tear as a needle-sized hole in a piece of fabric. The gate is the equivalent of ripping the fabric apart.
Why did so few people know about the God of Light?
Before the Purity Wars, no one even knew the God of Light existed. How is that possible?
An excellent question. At first, I thought the records were simply lost to time. But the patterns were too strong to be ordinary coincidence. I think, at some point or another, every civilization purged the God of Light from their records. Perhaps they all concluded the knowledge was too dangerous.
Like the Hibernians in Old Hellu. They also knew about the God of Light, but wrote remarkably little about it.
They were one, yes.
An ancient people?
An ancient people? Are you talking about the Shapers?
I know who the Xarlonthep are. And no, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about a different culture. Well developed at their zenith, but small in number.
When was that?
Well, that's hard to say, really, as they left hardly any traces. The few I found suggest that they lived around the same time the Xarlonthep did, but died before these became a world empire.
I don't get it. I'm no archaeologist, but if this culture was as well developed as you said, how come they left no traces?
That's the conundrum I've been dealing with for a long time. My esteemed colleagues say it is because these people didn't exist. You don't even know what they called themselves, they say. I know they did, though. And the God of Light's existence stands testimony to that. There's one theory I have regarding their disappearance, but I have little evidence to support it.
Which is?
That someone tried to erase them from history. Someone covered their tracks.
So that's why the Dark Crescent is looking for the temple.
So that's why the masked woman is looking for the temple. It's where the corrupted end Jakku, after all, by opening the gate.
With the energy of the Horde of Souls. Remember the Purity Wars? Lakain needed the magic of Tahar's mother to open the portal for the God of Light. And as she, the last Shaper, died, they needed another energy source. That's what they siphoned those souls for, to open the gate in the Temple of Light.
I don't follow. A horde of souls? Masked woman? You think somebody's actually trying to open the gate?
Sadly, we don't think, we know. Tell me, did someone break into your house last week? Ferreted through your desk, perchance?
You mean... Oh, Guardians, this is terrible. I don't know what to say.
Do you think they've located it already? Or are you missing, I don't know, a map or something?
Now that you mention it, yes. I've been wondering where that notebook went.
Then we have no time to lose. We will make for Windhome and...
Wait!
Kyawu?
Sir Merkel, you are wrong. The temple isn't near the steps. It's in the steps. It's next to our village.
I'm sorry, boy. Who are you?
Those ancient people you were talking about, they are our ancestors. We were once 4 tribes, and the chieftains introduced Sheoldred as a god to worship. They wanted to open the gate, but a group of us rebelled and stopped them. They sealed off the temple, changed their ways, and became what we are today. Jakku isn't just a prophecy, it's a reminder of what once was.
Why on Io didn't you tell us? This could have changed everything.
Because it's the law. Never, under any circumstances, must the chieftain or his kin reveal the whereabouts of the temple. Never. You just don't understand, General. Every custom we have, every tradition we honor, every law that I am bound to, I broke them all. I have broken with everything I once deemed holy to help you. My father forgave it all. But had I told you about the temple, well, I would have been an Aliani no longer. I am an Aliani no longer.
You hoped we would find the temple on our own?
Yes. That way, I would not have become a traitor.
If you hadn't told us after all this time, why now?
If you haven't told us after all this time, why now?
Because if the Crescent concludes that the temple is in the steps, their next move will be to question my people. We must get there before they do. We must.
Shit.
Wait, the Aliani worship Sheoldred?
Wait, the Aliani used to worship Sheokded? Why?
For a reason similar to that of the Hibernian prince. They were seeking its favor. I don't have to tell you how powerful Sheokded is. It can create new realities with a mere thought.
And that was what they wanted? A new reality?
One where the Aliani didn't just rule the steppes, but all of Northander. Thankfully, some of our people saw the implications of this and stopped the chieftains before it was too late. Do you understand now? This is why we have our ways. We vowed to never again let Sheokded enslave us with promises of power or to succumb to those sins. If Jakku were to happen again, we, by all that's sacred, would be observers, not perpetrators.
You risked a lot of lives by not telling us about this.
Guardians, Kyrieru. You risked a lot of lives by keeping this from us all this time.
I'm sorry, General, but I don't know. I thought maybe you could find out yourself. My people did wrong once. I'm trying to make sure we don't mess up again.
Where is the temple?
It's northwest of the village. Not far, but nowhere near the border with Lara, as Sir Merkel said. I can take you there.
Is that wise? The Dark Crescent might be waiting for us.
Very unlikely. If they only just stole Merkel's research, it will take them time to figure it out. We can move in and fortify our position at the village and temple. Then, when they appear, we strike.
And catch them red-handed, alongside the last corrupted. Smart.
General, you will go on ahead with the Wolf Guard. Secure the Aliani village first, then head to the temple. I will mobilize as many levies as I can, and then follow.
Maybe the Aliani could help us?
Kyrieru, do you think your people would be willing to help us?
I don't know. I am a traitor now. And even if they would, they are not warriors.
I do not think we should involve the Aliani in this fight. It is enough if we protect them from the Crescent.
Thank you, Your Majesty. That means a lot to me. To us.
Why not destroy the temple?
Why not destroy the temple? If there's no gate, then there's no way for such evil god to enter, right?
For once, I agree with Catrus. Without the gate, it won't matter how powerful the Horde of Souls is.
That would not work. The temple is only a physical structure, whereas the gate is part of the veil. It won't matter if there's a building or just a pile of rubble.
Let's get to it.
Okay, let's get to it.
You should. I want you to set out by the next morrow. In the meantime, prepare yourself and the Wolf Guard as well as you can. Everything depends on your success.
Let me get a new item. Nope, we waited too long. There we go. Lord Erendir's sword, which is a two-handed, no attribute requirement sword. Focus potion, health potion, gold, and a couple of items. Which one was the one I liked? I think it was the Archon's Gaze, which is the one I chose last time, which is the one I think we're going to go with as well. Alright, we travel to the Aliani village, and that's going to be the first thing we do in the next video. For now though, we'll leave you guys here. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take care.